Hey guys, your boy Sean Bellamy back with a brand new episode of Philly Eagles Talk here on my channel. And yes, you guys, our Philadelphia Eagles, the game just wrapped up. Our Philadelphia Eagles are now 2-0 after beating the Minnesota Vikings 34-28. Real quick disclaimer, side note, whatever. The score should have been worse than that. The Eagles should have blown, honestly. The final score should have been like 34-10 or something. I'm so serious. The Eagles should have ran away with this game. The Eagles were up 27-7 at one point throughout the third quarter. But just some things happened. The Eagles were shooting themselves in the foot with dumb decisions and dumb plays. And the referees just being blind as hells like they usually are, inconsistent on some penalty calls, inconsistent on what a pass interference is. Don't get me started. But overall, the Eagles definitely should have won more than by 6 points. Again, we were up 27-7 at one point, but we are 2-0, so I guess that's an important part. Real quick before I get to you guys about the offense, I'm talking because I got a lot to say about the Eagles offense. I want to say, tip my cap, give the stamp of approval for our defense. Yes, on paper, when you look at the final stat sheet, you're like, Sean, when you talking about the Eagles gave up a ton of points, 28, they gave up a lot of passing yards. The Eagles came to this game on a short week with injuries galore. After looking like the most healthiest team coming into the season, the Eagles' defense, especially on the back end with the linebackers and secondary, has just been injury riddled. We even had one of our key cornerbacks, Avonte Maddox, go down with an injury, which sucks because Avonte Maddox, like I said, is such a key piece to this defense when you talk about the secondary. Good cover dude, good tackler, but he just can't stay healthy. Like I really feel bad for dude because when he's out there, he is very important to this Eagles secondary, but he just can't stay healthy, and it's insane. Like I said, really sad. But I won't get mad at the Eagles defense playing with a bunch of backups, guys that weren't expected to even get in by week 2, going up against Justin Jefferson in that really good passing game offense. When you talk about Kirk Cousins leading the helmet quarterback, Justin Jefferson, their tight end Hawkinson. I like the dude Osborne. I like Addison, their rookie. Like they have tons of talent across the board when you talk about their passing game. The Vikings' main issue is their running game, but their passing game is there. So yeah, I wasn't mad at defense at all. A few times it was here and there you would think that they would clean up some things, but again, I'm not going to get mad at the defense. This video is going to be more pointed at the offense. And I got my notes here, so let's just start with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts in this game was 18 for 23, 193 yards, and a touchdown interception. Now, overall, you take out the interception, it was like a very efficient game. 18 to 23 is really good for a quarterback. And again, it's 193 yards, not the biggest, glorious stat line, but it's still, Jalen was, again, this week, taking what the defense was giving him, especially in the second half. But if I had to give him a grade for this game, I would give him like a C+ to a B-. And again, maybe the B- is because he, like I said, picked it up in the second half and started kind of looking like the old Jalen Hurts. But he's still a little inconsistent. Again, it's only 2 weeks, so I'm not saying like he's garbage or anything. It's not that. But it seems like with Jalen, these first 2 weeks, and maybe because he just hasn't played in the preseason, he seems very, I want to say nervous, but he's hesitant. I'm not expecting him to complete every single pass. That's not what this is. This is what I'm saying. But it just seems at times when he has time in the pocket, he's bailing out very fast, like he's getting ready to run, but then he kind of hesitates, like he doesn't want to run, and he kind of stops a little bit, or he wants to throw a pass that could be right there, but he kind of like just, like I said again, he's hesitant. He hesitates on making certain throws. That interception that he had in the first half, dude, was by far the worst play I've ever seen him make so far as a Philadelphia Eagle. Like, I'm not saying the man's perfect by any means, but he's human. But when he threw this interception, it was the first half. I believe you were trying to throw it to Devontae Smith. Jalen forced it with 2 Vikings players that was basically daring him, looking him in his eyes to dare him to throw the ball. It was just one of the worst interceptions that and decisions that I've ever seen him make. And again, it just seemed like he was just so much in his head. Again, and maybe it's our expectation for him, like, oh, yo, we expect MVP type season from this dude this year. Man, he can't do no wrong. Again, he's human. He's going to make mistakes. And I'm not, just because I see him as like a future MVP does not mean I expect him to be perfect. But it just seems it was, again, very uncharacteristic for him to make the mistakes that he was making, or it just seems like he's in his head this early in the season. There was also a play, again, what I also mean by him making mistakes, there was I believe in the fourth quarter or whatever, we were up 27 to 14, and it looked like the Eagles were going to run away with this game. It was great drive. It was running the ball. DeAndre Swift, who I can't wait to talk about. It was like 1st and 20 or 2nd and 20, whatever. Eagles go back to being pass heavy, but they're in field goal range. You know at that point as a quarterback, everyone knows at home, you do not take any sacks or anything that can push you out of field goal range and take you, kind of take the momentum away after a great drive. For some reason, Jalen gets sacked the first time, and we're still kind of in the hit of field goal range. Then the second time, I think it was like 3rd down, he was holding onto the ball for like 5-6 seconds and got sacked anyway. And it took him out of field goal range. Everyone's like, dude, Jalen, what are you doing? This was a great drive. I think it was like a 15, 16 play drive. We had like 6 minutes we wasted off the clock. We're in the fourth quarter. Dude, you go up 30-14, this game is over. The Vikings are in panic mode. How do you take the sack? It was, again, very uncharacteristic. He's very smart. He's a smart man. I can't else really to say that. He's much more smarter than that. I don't know what he was doing in that situation. He took 2 sacks. Everybody was like, dude, what is going on right now with this dude? But overall, it's just 2 games. Again, he's not like the MVP runaway. No one really does in 2 games. But overall, I keep saying that, I think he's going to be fine. It just seems like he's in his head with some of these things going on so far in the season. But, that was Jalen Hurts. Moving on to, I got my notes. Brian Johnson, the new Eagles offensive coordinator. So far in his 2 auditions as the, if you want to say 2 roles here as being 2 weeks of the Eagles offensive coordinator, his grade is at least a C+. And I really want to give him a D, but I will give him some credit, a little pat on the back of his, guess his in-game adjustment in this game against the Vikings when he went to the running game. But there's a part of me that doesn't want to give him credit for that because I feel like he only did it because he was forced to do it. There's a little part of me that believes that Nick Sirianni went to him and said, dude, you need to start running the football. Stop forcing these pass plays or being conservative and all this other stuff. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if he decided to run it because Eagles fans at the game was booing this offense literally after like the 3rd series. In this game. So, Brian Johnson is, like I said, Eagles offensive coordinator. His philosophy so far in these first 2 weeks are ass. And I'm going to say that right now. Sorry for cussing, but it's been ass, man. This dude, his play calling, it seems like he's trying his best to either, one, make Jalen Hurts look like the MVP we all know he can be, like forced to like be super pass heavy where he's not worried at all. Like it don't matter how cute his plays are and how, what he calls. If he puts the ball in Jalen's hands, it's always going to work out. Like that's what these play calls are seeing. Like it's like he's forcing Jalen to just be this pass heavy dude when that's not the Eagles offense or should always be even near the Eagles offense. Eagles should be a very well balanced of mix up when you talk about passing and running and passing, however you want to do it. There should never be a big lean on passing the ball, especially the way this offensive line has been blocking. The offensive line has been terrible against the blitz. And like I told you guys, Jalen Hurts has been solid to average so far in these first 2 games. So I don't understand what Brian Johnson did. He came into this game again against the Vikings when they were playing the exact same coverage as the freaking Patriots did last week. The Patriots has shown a blueprint how to stop the Philadelphia Eagles, at least slow the Eagles down. Maybe not fully stop the Eagles, but definitely slow them down. The Eagles have weapons all across the board, starting with Jalen Hurts as their quarterback. How do you stop the Eagles doing that? You take away the big play. The Eagles love trying to hit home runs. It's like in their playbook, hit a home run every time they throw the ball, it seems. Because I believe what the Patriots was playing last week was cover 0. And the Vikings played the exact same coverage. And it's like the Eagles was just not was just being dumb and not paying attention to what the Vikings were doing. They were dropping a lot of people back in coverage, rushing like 3, sometimes 4, but most of the time was 3, and was forcing Jalen to take these 3-4 yard dump passes and taking away the big plays. None of our wide receivers and tight ends, Zach, Dallas Goedert, and them, could get open. But the Eagles in the beginning of the game, especially in the first half, was feeding into it. They was still trying to beat the Vikings, even though the Vikings was daring the Eagles to run the football. Brian Johnson, the offensive coordinator, you have to know that. Dude, it got so frustrating. The first half, dude, was oh my God, it was so terrible. The Eagles got 3 turnovers. 3 turnovers. Their defense forced 3 turnovers. This handicapped defense forced 3 turnovers. I think it was, maybe 2, and I think 1 was a fumble recovery on special teams. The point is, the Eagles had 3 extra possessions in the first half to put up some points. The Eagles, I think, scored maybe once. And again, we went up to the halftime 13-7, but it should have been way worse is my point. The play calling by Brian Johnson, the offense coordinator, was so horrible and conservative. It's like he forgot that he has a Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins. He forgets that he has weapons on the offense. He kept calling these Brian Johnson kept calling these read options. I don't know how many times, dude, as Eagles fans, we have to literally hope and pray that Jalen Hurts does not get hurt, because already Brian Johnson has run so many read options that teams are so ready for the Philadelphia Eagles because we used that shit last year. The point of this whole thing is to keep Jalen Hurts out of any harm's way. He should not be taking hits. I understand sacks happen and stuff like that, but it should not be always like majority of your run play calls is read options. Like, this is college and teams are falling for that. Dude, these are smart defensive coordinators on the other side of the ball. These are very smart players on the defensive side of the ball. Sooner or later, they're going to figure your offense out, and it's up to you to adapt. Like I said in the end, Brian Johnson gets a little pat on the back because he did decide to go full run game when he decided to do that in the second half. Definitely, like, majority of the second quarter, but definitely in the second half, the Eagles started running away with the game. No pun intended. But again, I don't know if I want to give Brian Johnson a really big pat on the back because the Eagles fans were booing them at that point. They were booing the play calls because it looked sloppy. It looked, thank God we were going up against a Vikings team that is really not that good when you talk about defensively. But if we bring that kind of mess to Dallas, with Michael Parsons, the rest of those dudes running around, it's crazy, all that stuff you saw the Cowboys defense does. If we saw that if we brought that against the 49ers, dude, we are going to get punched in our mouths hard. Like, the Eagles have got to pick it up offensively, but Brian Johnson, offense coordinator, absolutely has to do better than that. Like I said, I don't know if to give him full credit. If it was Nick Sirianni, maybe Brian Johnson finally realized, wait a minute, this is what the defense is giving me. The defense is making me run the ball or forcing me to run the ball, basically saying, hey guys, hey Eagles, take the game, just run the ball. Because as soon as the Eagles started running the ball, I think we averaged like 5-6 yards a carry. I think the Eagles had over 200 yards total as a team running the football. It was right there, dude. Like, if the game plan going forward for every team facing Philadelphia is to do cover 0 and try to basically play back and force the Eagles to, take away the big play, if they're going to rush 3 or not bring a lot of pressure, just run the football down the team's throats. That's what you do. And then you'll force those safeties from those other teams to come up. Then you'll force the worry about them trying to load the box. And then you can unload your passing game and then your passing attack. And then, boom, we're set. Brian Johnson has got to do better, dude, here right now. It is 2020. I say 2020. It is 2023, dude. There's absolutely no reason as a fan I should be still complaining to you or asking, why are you not running the football? When if you go back to last year, the Philadelphia Eagles were 5th in the NFL in rushing yards per game, I think at 147. So we clearly can run the football when we run the football, because this O-line is one of the best in the game, especially when you're talking about run blocking. We have a lot of big dudes up there that can hold their own in run blocking. So why are you not taking advantage? Why are you trying to be cute? I can't stand that in college football or NFL. I hate when I hate when head coaches or offensive coordinators try to be too cute. Just pick a freaking pick a game plan, stick to it until you have to adapt. Stop trying to be cute. I don't get it. Stop trying to be cute and just goes what works. And in this case, it was the running game. Moving on to the running game. DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift had 28 carries, 175 yards, and a touchdown, and averaged 6.3 yards a carry. This dude is running back one, and it's not even close. I do not care what anyone else says, dude. Last week against the freaking Patriots, he had only 2 carries last week against the Patriots. When the Eagles traded for him back in the offseason, I jumped for joy because I watched and I am a huge fan of DeAndre Swift as a running back when he was at the Detroit Lions. So when the Eagles got their hands on him and brought him to Philly, I was like, oh my goodness, it's over when you talk about the running game. You got him, but alongside with Rashad Penny, you got Kenneth Gainswell, you got Boston Scott. But again, DeAndre Swift he's just an electrified player. He is someone so fun to watch, dude. The way he cuts, when he runs, the jukes, he's got the speed, he got some power to him. He is a beast. So when the Eagles brought him over and then on the first week of the season gave him 2 carries, go check my Twitter post. I was pissed and asked numerous times, where is DeAndre Swift? Why are y'all not using him? Why are you not giving him the ball? Fast forward to tonight against the Vikings. 28 carries, 175 yards, and a touchdown, averaging 6 yards a carry. He was clearly the best player on the field today when we talk about offensively. That man carried the entire load for the Philadelphia Eagles. I can't even remember the last time the Eagles running back had over 22 carries in the game. He had 28. He put the team on his back and really helped this team pull out the win, dude. Especially when we talk about the running game, man. It was so evident right away that the Eagles should be giving him the ball more than anyone else. Last week, like I said, they only gave him 2 against the Patriots, 2 carries, and gave majority carries to Kenneth Gainswell, which I don't know why. No hate towards Kenneth Gainswell, but he is not a number 1 back. He is not a featured back. That should be going to DeAndre Swift, dude. That man carried he ran hard. He ran with some purpose. When he got the speed, he know how to pick different holes to get through. If the hole wasn't there, he was shooting it to the outside. He is clearly their running back one, and it's not close. No one else should have more carries than DeAndre Swift by the end of every game. I'm not joking, dude. You can screw that one running back by committee, or maybe you can use it from time to time. But DeAndre Swift is clearly your best running back. That's all I got to say about dude with that. And the last thing I'm going to say, you guys, before I wrap up, is about A.J. Brown. The star wide receiver, A.J. Brown, best friends with Jalen Hurts, and us Eagles fans, we love him. I definitely love him. There was a moment that, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be brought up maybe again, definitely going to be brought up by tomorrow because the Philly sports media is trash, and they're going to try to make this something till it's not. But I guess it's better now than ever to bring it up now, whatever, before it gets super, super out there. But so Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown was on the sidelines, and this was, I think, after the third quarter was over. They was on break, and they came back from commercial break, and you could see that they were showing a replay of A.J. Brown on the sideline, basically like he was arguing with Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith and other people on the sidelines, like he was frustrated. You could tell. I'm not good at reading lips, but you could tell by his hand motion, stuff like that, and kind of like his body posture. You could just tell he was clearly frustrated about something. And when you looked at the stats, you saw that I think he was targeted at that point like 3 catches for 20 yards or something. He did not have the best stats that obviously we know A.J. Brown can have. And it wasn't like he was dropping passes or anything. He just was not being targeted a lot in this game. Because like I told you guys, and go back and watch the game for yourself, the main formula, the reason why the Eagles won this game was definitely because of the running game. It was the running game that was setting the motion and really set, well, the table for us to get this win. So they talked about in the commentary a little bit. Now, Eagles fans, of course, talking about, like, yo, what's he going on about? Why is A.J. Brown upset? And that's where everyone basically came to the conclusion that he's upset because he was not getting the ball enough. And I want to say right now, I don't hate A.J. Brown for this or anything like that. We're all human. Everyone wants to, their piece of the pie, especially if you're a superstar wide receiver like A.J. Brown is. He's very important to the team. All that is true. But there is, dude, you got to understand, man, that, and I'm not in his shoes, obviously, but he has to understand. I'm pretty sure he does. That's why I don't think this is going to be way more than it is. I think the Eagles veterans will sit him down. Jalen Hurts, who was like his best friend, will sit AJ down and talk to him. Nick Sirianni will probably talk to him. Because he also, but this comes down to AJ Brown too. He has to understand, dude, every night is not going to be your night, man. Like, there's going to be times like this, and probably more times than not this year. The Eagles are really going to lean on their running game to get them through some things until their passing game really catches up to speed. And as a fan, I'm more about the win. I don't care about the numbers of what you got or someone else got. I want the win, man. So if you're telling me 30 to 40, 50 runs a game as a team, running the ball works more than Jalen Hurts throwing the ball 30, 40 times to get the ball to this guy and this guy and this guy, I am all for it. I don't care about the numbers, dude, all the time. I want us, of course, to play well. I want Jalen Hurts to have a good game, stuff like that. And I want A.J. Brown and all these other dudes to have a good game. But overall, man, I want the W because that's all that matters in the end. So I hope this does not, I don't believe it will, but I really hope this does not become a thing with A.J. Brown because it was not a good look, at least on face value. Again, it's just a little thing because, again, he's not the only wide receiver in history that have done this. There have been plenty of wide receivers throughout history that feel like they're not getting enough touches, they're not getting enough targets their way because they want to be involved in the game. They feel like they're just out there running routes for no reason. But again, at the same time, when you're a Super Bowl caliber team like the Eagles are, we was just at the Super Bowl last year, and I'm pretty sure checking your ego at the door was one of the reasons why the Eagles absolutely are Super Bowl contender because everybody bought into what their role was going to be from time to time. You can't bring that into the next season, and then if it carries and lingers, it's going to be, that's when you start seeing the teams, like in the Philadelphia Eagles case, fall apart. Because then everyone's worried about how they're getting their numbers or what they're doing individually than what the team is accomplishing without you getting all these big numbers, if that makes sense.